Okay, everybody, this is the bandsaw. So this saw main purpose is cutting curves in your stock. So let's say I have something that looks kind of like this right here. That could be my dragster car, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cut this chunk off so I have this chunk to deal with right here. Now before I can do that, I have to make sure that the saw is set up properly. So if I loosen this up by turning it to the right, I'm sorry, to the left, and let's say this was down here, I cannot get the piece of wood underneath the upper guide. So this shiny metal part here is the upper guide. So I have to take the big knob and I have to spin it so that I can get my piece of wood under it and it moves freely. Checking to see that my finger will not go underneath it, okay? So the upper guide should be no more than 1/4 of an inch above my piece of wood. Once I have that, I'm gonna tighten this back knob. Not over tighten, just snug it up. So I'm just gonna snug that so that it's right there, okay? On-off button is over here. I just flip it up and I can see that my little light turns on here on this bendy guide. So that helps me to see my cut, okay? Once I have that set up, I wanna make sure that I stay 2 inches away from my line or 4 inches away for 7th grade, okay? Again, you wanna keep your thumbs in line with your forefinger, and I'm just gonna follow my line, all right? Again, just like the chop saw, you wanna stay to the scrap side of the wood. So you can see I left a little bit of line there so that I make sure that I make it all the way to my full length. So when I cut this out, I should make sure that I'm on the upper side of this line so that I can sand down to my pencil line, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is cut the curve, all right? As I'm going through, and if I'm 2 inches away or 4 inches away, I can have my hands behind the saw blade and I can have my hands here. Once I get too close, I can grab a piece of scrap wood and I can help push that through so that if it does go through the wood, it's gonna hit this piece of wood and not my fingers, okay? It's always good practice to have the piece of scrap wood behind your block. All right, let's make this cut. Turn it on, and I'm gonna start following my line, okay? I wanna saw these curves gradual, and it's okay if I'm not right on my line. So this curve here is a little sharp, so what I'm gonna do is just come right off the top. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off, wait for it to stop, and then I can clear my scrap out of the way. How I know it stopped is I can see each individual tooth, okay? Then I'm gonna go ahead and start it back up again. I'm gonna come in this way, and I'm gonna make my cut. I'm just gonna stop pushing for a second. I'm gonna grab my scrap wood, and I'm gonna make the rest of my cut. I'm making the curve, and now I'm gonna come out the top, and there we go. And I shut that off. Okay? Now, I left wood above my line so that it's easy for me to sand down, either using the belt disc sander or a drum sander. So I'm gonna show you both of those. Okay. When you're done cutting, you should take your scrap pieces of wood and then they should go in the bins underneath the chop saw.